My name's Dan Keneally, and I work for Families of Veterans Guild as the Executive Support Officer. If I haven't had the chance to meet you yet, it's nice to meet you. This is going to be the first video in a series of digital literacy for war widows. And this episode is going to focus on how to get an email address. I'm going to step through this quite slowly. If you feel like I am going too slow, or you already know or have an email address, feel free to skip forward or skip this episode. So I have made my mouse, which you cannot see yet, but I've made it quite large, and there is a green ring around it. That way you can see what I am doing. I will try and go as slow as I can. If I do go too fast, please call the Families of Veterans Guild phone number and provide that feedback for future episodes. So I'm just going to begin sharing my screen here. Okay. So all I've done there is moved over to my home screen. I am using a MacBook Air, and that uses the Macintosh operating system. If your screen doesn't look like this, you may have a Windows computer, which will be slightly different, and we will be working on an episode for Windows users. However, getting on the internet is largely the same, and making an email address is largely the same experience. So what you're going to need to start doing is accessing the internet. So it might be a variety of apps that you have installed. Most commonly on a Mac, it's going to be Safari, which is the internet browser. If you are on a Windows computer, it's likely Microsoft Edge or Internet Explorer if you have an older computer. So what you need to do is find Safari. I've got it saved down here, and as you can see on my green large mouse there. So when I click on it, you'll see a little effect there. So all that's done is opened up a blank Safari window for me here. So as you can see, I'm clicking, which shows there. So whenever you see that, you are going to know that I've clicked on something, just in case I don't say it. So we're now got Safari open. What do we need to do? We are going to get set up with a Gmail account just because it's usually the easiest one to get going. Most people do use Google, and these days Google owns other internet services like YouTube, which means that you won't have to make another account. If you have a Google account, you will have a Gmail account and you'll have a YouTube account, all under the one email address. So to begin, I'm going to click on Google here, but alternatively, if you do not have Google here, what you can do is come up to this search bar and just type in www.google.com. So I'll click enter now. And as you can see, we are on the Google search page, which may be familiar to some of you. So what do we need to do now? As you can see, I'm not signed in. There's no account there. If there is an account there with your name or someone else's name, that means that you were signed into a Google account. And you may need to sign out of yourself or that person, or excuse me, that person's account if you want to make a new email address. I won't be going through that today because you may be using a shared computer with friends and family, and you might want to ask them first before you log out of their account. Additionally, if you do have someone that lives with you or that you're friends with who is a bit more technologically savvy, feel free to invite them to help you with this process. They can watch this video and help you step through it if you're getting lost or confused with these instructions. So you can either click here on sign in or you can click Gmail. Does not really matter. I'm going to click Gmail, which is the Google email service. So I'll click on that. As you can see, we're now at the home page for making a Gmail account. So you want to be seeing this, and we want to create an account. We don't want to create a work account. We just want to create a normal account. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this. And again, it comes up with, do I want it for my personal use or work or business? Almost all of us are going to be wanting a Gmail account for personal use. So we'll be clicking on that today. So we're now at this screen. This is where you start the process of making a Google account. As you can see here, where my mouse is, wants your first name and last name, which is optional. So you can just click on these to change between them. So I'll be making an account with you. I'm going to make a test account. So I'll make my first name Dan, and I'll move down here and make my last name FOVG. So obviously I already have an email account. This is going to be a dummy test account, but I think making an account with you is going to be the most beneficial to getting us through this process together. Again, I should have said earlier, feel free to pause the video and go backwards if you need to. And if you do get lost, we are always available on the phone to try and help you out. So I've entered my first name and last name. That's all I need to do on this page. I come over here and I click next. It's going to ask you for some basic information. It does say you can click on this if you want to find out why they're asking for it. The answer is because they're going to be catering information to you based on your age and your gender. As in, you might get ads for things that they think you're interested in, or they might, send you information that is relevant to people of your age group and gender. So I'm going to fill this out. I'm just going to use some fake information here. So this is not my birth date. And I will select my gender and we will move on to the next screen. So you just want to check you've got your month, day and year and your gender here. And again, we're just going to click next. So it's going to give us a bunch of recommendations. It's recommended fovgdan@gmail.com or danfovg@gmail.com, or I can create my own. Keep in mind that if you're going to create your own email address, if someone else already has that email address, you will not be able to use that email address. All of this information, I'll just recap, is also available in the document that was circulated with this video. So if you're having trouble following the video, there is a step-by-step document that lists out the steps that I am following. I'm literally just following that down the page. This is just the video version of it. So click here, create your own Gmail address. A box will come up. This is going to be the Gmail address that you will have for the rest of this email account's life. Once you've created a Gmail address, you cannot change it. It's the same thing if I click on these two and make those my Gmail address, you cannot change them. As it says here, we can use letters, numbers, and periods. So if I wanted to, I can do dan.fovg. I can do Dan _ if I really wanted to. I can do Dan12 FOVG. Whatever combination works to get a unique email account. So as an example, I will put in a very common name, John Smith @gmail.com, and see what happens. So as we can see, this username is taken. Try another. So that's telling you that when I had John Smith in there, I'll just retype that in, that someone else has used this email address, which means that we can't use it. So what I need to do, make something a bit more unique. I'm going to just do dan.fovg@gmail.com. That's fine. So we have not created an account yet. We have just chosen an email address. We are perhaps at the most important part of creating an email account, and something that I will stop on for a few minutes, which is choosing a strong password. I will highly recommend that you do not use the same password for any other online accounts that you may have. If you do have a Facebook account, if you do have a bank account, an online bank account that you use, if you do have a MyGov account, anything like that, I would not suggest using the same password for those sites. Additionally, when we are thinking of creating a password, a good rule of thumb is not to use things that are easily identifiable to yourself. So your name, your date of birth, your address, even things like your dog or cat's name. If someone with malicious intent found out that information, they can make reasonable guesses of what your password may be, which may lead to them getting access to your account, which is not what we want. So what is the solution? The solution is to create a random phrase of 3 words. They can be anything. They can be words that are not important to you at all. They can be words that are important to you. And, you use those 3 words and some letters to make a password. So what am I talking about? I'll give you an example, which will not be the password for this account, but I could make a 3-word phrase, of book, ocean, basket. So my password would be book, ocean, basket, no spaces, just I'd type it in, BOOKOCEAN BASKET, and then I might choose some numbers, 6732. And then I might even put an @ sign or an exclamation mark in there if I really want to make it secure. Please do not use that password that I just created as your password. Please come up with your own 3-word phrase and any combination of letters, something that you're going to remember, and use that as your password. So I will be doing that, but I will not be telling you what the password is. So as you can see, I've entered the same password twice. That is to make sure that you've entered it correctly, and that is something that you will need to do. If they don't match, so if I change this last bit to something else, and then I click next, it'll say those passwords didn't match, try again. If you're getting stuck, and I will not do this because I don't want you to see the password for this account, but if you get stuck, you can click on show password. So I'll just delete this one and I'll come up with that previous example. So book, ocean, basket, I can't remember the numbers, but 5432, and then an @ sign. It'll come up if you click this show password button, and that way you can make sure that you're entering in that account correctly. If you are going to click on show password, I would encourage you to do that somewhere where people cannot see your computer. So I wouldn't do this in a cafe, for example, or a public library. I would do this in the privacy of your own home where no one else can see what you're putting in your screen, which is the situation that I'm in right now. So I'll just delete that and I'll unclick this and I will come back to the different password that I had. Okay. So now that we've done that, I would encourage you to potentially, if you don't think you will remember your password, write it down on a piece of paper and keep it somewhere safe and private. And that way, if you do forget it, you will have a reference for it. Additionally, some of you may have newer devices that are linked with your Apple accounts, and they may remember the password for you. I'm not going to go through that today because that's very specific to only a few people who probably have iPhones or other Apple devices where that service is available. But I would encourage you, if you don't have many passwords, to write them down and keep them somewhere safe where only you know that they are. It's debatable, but if you do feel that you can trust someone, if you have a close relative, a son, a daughter, brother, sister, a carer, someone that you trust, I would not encouraged, but you may consider providing them with your password. That is risky. It comes with the potential for them to misuse your account. I'm not suggesting that people's family would, but it's just something you need to consider. In an ideal world, only you should know your passwords, and only you should know where the passwords, a physical copy of the passwords, are kept. Okay, so where are we now? It's asking me if I want to set up a recovery email address. This is also important in case I forget my password. So if I already have another email address, I could put that in there. And that means that if I ever forgot my password and I wanted to reset it, Google would send a link to my recovery email address that would let me reset the password. If you do have another email address, you could consider putting that in there. If you have a previous work address that you still have access to, if you have another email address that's associated with your internet provider like BigPond, Telstra, you may consider using that address. You do not have to provide a recovery address, but it's going to make it harder to reset your password if you don't. So if you don't want to, you can click skip, or you can enter your recovery email address and click next. Again, if you do have someone that you trust, close family member, etc., you could provide their email address as well, if you know it, which means that if you get locked out of your account, that person will get a link saying that you have been locked out of your account, and that person can give you permission to reset your password. That is important because if you aren't doing that, as in someone is trying to get access to your account, that person will get notified in their email address that what looks like you has requested to reset a password. They can call you or get in contact with you in some other way and find out if that was actually you that did that before they approve that process. Okay. That's very detailed. I understand that, but I just want everyone to be across about what this recovery email can do for you. I will be clicking skip as this is just a test account. And here we go, review your account info. So it's coming up saying, here's your first name, my last name, and my email address. So if you're happy with that, you can go ahead and click next. All right, so it's going to ask you to read some terms and conditions. So, you're just giving them some information, etc. I encourage you to read that if you are so interested, but otherwise we're going to click I agree. Okay, so it's come up on my Mac just asking me if I want other applications to use this Google account. I'm not going to tell you what to click here. If you want this new account to be linked in with all of your Apple stuff, click allow. If you're not sure, I would encourage you to click not now, sorry. So here we are. You're going to get a bunch of things coming up like that. It's just encouraging you to try some of the new features. Just X out of them. Again, they're just telling you information about how they give you ads. I would encourage you to just click dismiss. Essentially, we want to get to this stage here. We have a inbox that is ready to receive email addresses. And as we can see here, I can make a new email if I want to. That is what this button is for, okay? There will be another episode coming out about how to write an email, what to do with emails that you receive, etc. This video is just getting you to this stage. So I'll just do a quick review here of some of the buttons that you're probably wondering about. Like inbox is where we're going to receive all of our emails. In this primary one, Google will try, excuse me, Google will try and filter them by promotions, social, etc. But if you just want to find out where all your emails are, it's always going to be in primary. Okay. There are some settings up here, as you can see. So I'll click on that. And, you can change what it looks like. I can I can change the background if I really wanted to. Those are things that are probably not relevant to what we need to do today. And then this one up here is the My Account button. So as you can see, if I hover over it, so I haven't clicked it yet, but if I hover over it, it's got my name, the Gmail address that I have, and it's telling me there's an important account alert. So let's find out what that's about. Okay, so it's telling me that I could lose access to my Gmail if I don't add a recovery phone number. You do not need to give Google your phone number if you don't want to. They're not going to stop you logging in because you haven't given them your phone number. What this is saying is that if you forget your password and you can't get in, it will make it difficult to reset your password without a recovery phone number. It's the same idea as the recovery email address. If you get locked out, you can add a recovery phone number and Google will send you a link to reset your password. So I will go through that process just to show you what it looks like, but I'm not telling you whether to do it or not. That's a decision you need to make for yourself. If you do this option, Google will not be sending you spam messages. They're not going to be sending you emails to your phone number or anything like that. It would purely be used to reset your password. So if I click on that, it'll open up a new tab, as we can see. So I'll just quickly highlight that for people who aren't sure. When that's come up, I can see here, inbox, and it's got my email address. So I click on that, I'm back into my inbox. And if I come over here to where it says recovery options, I'm back here. So it's just opened up a new tab for me. That's all that happened there. So I can enter a phone number to use for security purposes. This phone number can be used to help verify it's really you signing into your account. So that's the whole idea of this process. If I wanted to do this, again, this is not my phone number, but I will just enter in some numbers here and click save. And again, there's another option here to add my recovery email address if I wanted to. I will delete that so that that person is not getting my phone numbers, my emails, sorry, or requests to reset my password. So I've come back to here. This doesn't look like the Gmail screen, does it? This is my Google account screen, which is a bit confusing, I know. But all we need to do to get back to our emails is remember that it's in another tab. So I can click back here and I'm back into my emails. And look at that, we've got an email from Google. What I'm going to do first though, is so I don't get confused, I'm going to shut this tab that was open before. So as you can see up here, it's there. It's just waiting for me to go back to it. I don't need it anymore. So what I can do is come over and click this X here. I don't know if you can see that behind my big monitor. If I click that, it's gone. I've only got one tab now. Okay. So what is Google sending me an email about? Security alert. So you can see here, this is the sender. And I've got 2 emails from them. It's just doubled them up for me. And I can see I've got a security alert. That's the subject. And then here, recovery phone was changed, etc. That's going to be the body of the email. So if I click on that, you can see no reply at accounts.google.com to me. And I can check there, subjects, who it's from, is it encrypted? Those things aren't really important to you guys, but as we can see here, it's just telling me that my recovery phone was changed, which I did, so I'm not too worried about that. But if you do get emails from Google telling you things, you just want to make sure that it is actually Google and not a scammer. So I don't need this email anymore. This bin button here is what I'm going to click on and delete that email. So now there's no emails left. And if I want to go find it, I can go to the trash. So I'll just show you how I did that. You've got here inbox, starred, snooze, sent, drafts, etc. More emails. And we've got spam, trash, all mail, a few other things. The things that you guys are going to be mostly using here are inbox, trash, and spam potentially. So I'll click on trash. And I can see those emails are there and they'll automatically be deleted after 30 days, but I can do that now if I really want to. Okay, so it would appear that I have a fully functioning Google account now. There is a few other things I'll go through before we finish the video. If you are familiar with YouTube, that's great. And if you do use it, you now have a Google account to use YouTube with. So as I can see here, this it's called a 9-dot button because it's got 9 dots, 3, 6, 9. That is going to open up all the other Google apps. So I'll click on that. As you can see here, there's a lot of Google apps, okay? A lot of them you don't really need to worry about or use. Personally, I wouldn't even use half of these. I use Google Drive, YouTube, and occasionally Google Translate. So you can see here, YouTube, click on that, and it's taken me to a YouTube account. It's asking me to sign in, which I can do with the same email account. This is important in case you ever want to watch Families of Veterans Guild content online. We do have some YouTube content, which I will find quickly. As you can see here, this is our channel. And you can subscribe to it so that you get updates on the videos we put up. And there's going to be all the videos that we show throughout throughout the year. So you can see we've got the Governor General's message that was displayed at War Widows Day last year. You know, we're going to have recordings from the Anzac Field of Remembrance, various interviews with ABC News, etc. And you can also look at past live streams. So there's the 2025 Anzac Field of Remembrance there, 2024, etc., etc. Okay. So I won't be going into YouTube too much now. That's just to give you a rough idea. We probably will have another video coming out about YouTube as well. But as you can see, I've just closed that tab and I've come back to my Gmail account. So we're done with using Gmail for today. What do we need to do? If this is a personal computer that only you access and you have a password for it, or no one else, you know, is going to be using this computer beside yourself, you can just shut down the Safari. You know, I can just come up here to Safari, quit Safari, that will close it, and I'm back on my home screen. The reason I tell you that is because when you open it back up and I go to Google, I'm still signed in. I don't need to sign in every single time if I do that. Whereas if you are sharing this computer with someone else, you know, a family, a relative, you can, you know, decide with them if you want to keep signed in or you want to sign out every time. If this computer that you're using is a public computer, so a computer that's at a library, a computer that a large amount of people have access to, you know, a computer that you don't own and that other people are going to be using, I would highly, highly encourage you to sign out when you're done with your checking of emails. That means that to get back in your email account, you have to put the password in. It may be a little bit inconvenient for you, but especially if other people are using this computer that you're on, it's almost a must that you need to sign out to stop them getting into your emails. So I'll just show you what that looks like. So again, I've just come up here, the account thing with the first letter of my first name. Click on that. You know, it's telling me to add a phone number. That's fine. I can do that later. And I'll just click sign out here. And what do you know? I'm back on the Google screen, but I have to sign in. Okay, click on that. That's the account I want to sign into. And it's asking me to enter my password, which is what we want if we're using a shared computer. Okay. That concludes the first episode of the digital literacy program. We're going to be using this Gmail account to build on to the next episodes in this series. So this Gmail account that we've created will be very useful for the following episodes, which are going to revolve around Eventbrite, going to revolve around sending emails and using YouTube and various other things. So if you need to sign up to a Families of Veterans Guild event using Eventbrite, there will be an episode on that, and we will use this test email to do that. Okay. So if you have any questions, if you've gotten lost or confused, please call Families of Veterans Guild and provide the feedback that we need to make these episodes better and to help you get online and stay informed with what we're doing and all the work we're doing. Okay. All right. Thanks for your time.